Living is easy with eyes closed. Misunderstanding all you see. It's hard to be someone in it all works out. It doesn't matter much to me. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you all to episode 46 of Film Banter.
I'd like to dedicate tonight's show to the lovely and beautiful Miss Kimberly McMahon? I'd like to dedicate the show to her, who finds it repulsive when the two of us are not sitting here at our proper seats.
I don't think I used the word repulsive.
No, she doesn't like it. She fast forwards because she doesn't like it.
I think our viewers think it's off-putting.
Chris, that red-haired guy, he's too much. His ego's gotten out of control. He's got to start the show off the screen, then you're off the screen. I just fast forward. I can't stand it anymore.
I think you're emulating a lot of people's opinions right there.
And Max doesn't like it either. He's scared of those masks. I can't take it anymore.
These are what people are telling us. These are what our viewers are telling us.
I think you're wrong, my friend.
I disagree.
There you go. It's neither here.
We can't hear with the applause.
That's all right.
It's neither here nor there.
It's neither here nor there.
It's not.
Well, very well. Let's start the
Nor
damn
is
show.
it a hair.
There you go.
H-A-R-E, by the way, not H-A-I-R.
Oh,
We've got plenty of H-A-I-R between the two of us.
Yes, we certainly do.
Especially you with your wild, crazy. Your hair is very wild tonight.
Is it?
Yeah, it looks good, though.
Crazy guy. There you go.
Wild
All right, so let us
crazy guy.
begin. We're going to begin episode 46.
Yeah, episode 46, everybody. Let's get to
We're going
the
to
cut to the
start,
chase here.
by the way, you notice I did preface that with the lovely and beautiful
Yes.
Miss Kimberly.
Because those are facts.
McManus.
She's wonderful.
McMahon.
No, there's no McManus. There's no
Manus?
Manus in there. I don't know.
I thought there was Kimberly McManus.
No, it's Kimberly. The middle name is Marlin.
Oh, Kimberly
like a
Marlin
fish.
McMahon. Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yes.
Well, all right. We're dedicating our show to you tonight, Kimberly,
I
because
guess
we're
we
both
are.
seated here in these very seats. We're not off camera.
Yes.
You're not going to be fast forwarding tonight.
If she's watching.
That's
it,
right. I
hope you're
fast
watching.
forward. I don't want to watch
Is
that
that
crap.
one view her? Could it be?
I don't need to watch that crap, Chris.
all right.
That's not what I'm about. I fast forward through that stuff.
Why are you turning her into a
gay
man?
San Francisco
You're turning her into Rip Taylor.
white Nazi there? I don't know, actually. All right, so
It's
let
okay.
us
We're going to begin
because
with.
Neither here nor
it's
there.
neither here
We're
nor
going
there,
to start the
ladies and
show with some films that are currently playing
Yes,
right now.
they are. They're in the theaters
all
now.
three opened up last week, I
They
believe.
did indeed, and of course we waste all our money to go see these films.
well,
and then
see,
we have dinner. We spend a lot of money on the
We-
show
we
for what?
do.
For one viewer who's here at the beginning
It's
of our
okay.
show. It might even be the lovely and beautiful Miss Kimberly McMahon.
The good thing is that our
and
viewership
if you're not sitting there, I'm
grows
fast
during
forwarding,
the
buddy.
episode.
I don't even want to see the show then.
Oh, stop harping on every
All
criticism
right.
you receive.
All right, so we're starting the show with Logan Lucky
Logan
tonight,
Lucky,
the new Steven
Steven
Soderbergh film.
the guy who just can't seem to retire.
Guy can't
He
seem
keeps
to retire,
threatening it, and
can't
he
seem
doesn't.
to stop making heist films.
He loves it.
Has to make another heist film.
If you have to make a heist film, you got to hire Soderbergh. He's got it down to a science.
I guess that's so. I guess
Yeah,
that's
I
so.
think so.
I mean, I don't know about the scientificness of this film. Let's go right into
is
the
a
plot of
comedy
this film.
at
It
the
is
end
a
of the
comedy,
day.
absolutely
Yeah.
true, as all the
For the most
all
part, very lighthearted films.
Oceans,
All the Oceans films.
52 and 53, they're all comedies to some extent. He does have a comic undertone,
He does.
overtone to his maniacal bit of filmmaking.
Lately, at least.
Yeah, okay, we have Channing Tatum in this movie. It's a white trash film, basically. It's a very
Yeah, it's-
lovely white trash film.
Yeah, it's a
featuring,
beautiful-looking film.
I was waiting for Casey Affleck to come walking out of... I mean, I
know.
really was, too. I kept looking, hey, is that bearded guy over there? Is
Yeah.
that Casey Affleck standing over
Everybody,
there?
the film
I
takes
really
place
was.
mostly in West Virginia and Charlotte, North
West
Carolina.
Virginia, Mountain Mama.
And there is some John Denver
and they
music.
sing that
Yes,
John
they
Denver
do.
song, in the
They do.
which was quite nice at the very
was nice. It
end.
worked out well.
I liked it.
I liked
I
it.
liked it. And a little sing along with a little
Yeah.
girl at the
A little talent
the theater.
show, right?
I just fast forward right through the whole show. I don't even want to see that show anymore. But,
He's referencing the fact that in the film, Channing Tatum's daughter is in a talent show.
Correct.
So she sings.
She is in a talent
She sings
show.
a John Denver song in the film.
You know, one of the best things about this film, I thought, was the relationship between. Could you move your knee over just a flash? I
Yes.
mean, I do love.
You don't want to play kneesies?
I don't want to play kneesies. I really don't.
Yeah.
But I love the
Why don't we
relationship.
sit back, actually, so we're not hunched over like
I don't
Quasimodo?
mind being, you know, it's all right, but his name
Banter
rings a
Moto
bell.
there.
I got a good joke for you if you want to hear a really good joke. Real fast.
If you must.
Okay, here's my good joke. Ladies and gentlemen, I really love this joke.
Okay.
There's a man, he's on his deathbed. He
Okay.
is dying. He is going to be dead very, very shortly. As he's lying in his deathbed on the second floor, he suddenly smells some oatmeal raisin cookies.
Oh.
So he crawls out of bed. He goes crawling out of bed. He crawls down the steps. He gets halfway down the steps. He's going, oh my God, that's so heavenly. I must go closer to those cookies. I've got to get closer to the cookies. He gets downstairs, and there's suddenly he sees his wife. And she's standing there with a big, giant rack of these wonderful oatmeal raisin cookies that she makes. And so he goes over and he starts to grab one. And she says, honey, no, they're for the funeral.
That's funny.
I like that joke.
I like that one, too.
There you go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's get back to Logan Lucky. I'm terribly sorry. You didn't like it that much, though. Well, there you go.
No, it was a good joke.
Let's
I
get
liked
back
it.
to the show.
So why don't we do a quick... We kind of skimmed over the synopsis of the film.
The plot of the film is...
Why don't you do that real quick?
If you'd like me to.
Yeah, you're already
Okay.
talking. Might as well
All right,
continue.
all right. So, he never shuts up, as everyone says. He's an egomaniac, this guy.
He's got a
He's got
string
to
in the
keep
back.
talking. Go ahead. Okay.
All right, continue.
How did I know she was 12, officer? Okay, so, it's about a heist movie. It's about, there we have the illustrious Daniel Craig in this film, taking a brief hiatus.
Yeah, he
from
looks like an
James
albino
Bond.
with blonde hair.
He does look like a little albino.
He looks cool, though. He's got a cool
like
look.
Edgar and Johnny Winter's little
I thought he
brother.
played a real good Southern character. I liked
He did.
him.
I did like him, too. We have the beautiful Miss, what is her name again?
Riley
Kug or something.
She's we
She's
mentioned
the-
it before on the show.
She's the granddaughter of Elvis Presley.
Exactly,
Her mom
yeah.
is
Yeah.
actually she's the she's the granddaughter.
Of Elvis Presley.
Yeah,
correct.
yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
yes.
So anyway, this is a movie about bunch of guys. There's an impending heist to be made.
wanna
Channing
rob-
Tatum gets fired from his job at the very beginning. He's kind of works in a construction kind of industry, and he's working near a racetrack.
Well, he was working underneath the racetrack.
Correct. He finds that there's a way to
infrastructure
actually
repairs.
suck out money out of the vending machines that have these big giant suction tubes.
Yeah.
That like a Dyson, it never loses suction.
Mm-hmm.
So these tubes are just blowing money right down into the lower depths.
So they need to
he
break
he
Daniel
compiles
Craig
this whole thing.
out
But
of
Daniel
prison.
Craig is in jail. We have a group of white trash gentlemen who are very
Adam
funny.
Driver is one.
Adam
Plays his
Driver
brother.
is very good.
He's good. He has one arm.
He has one arm. A very great special
Good
effect.
special
They do
effects.
great special effects these
These
days,
days,
with
yeah.
people with missing limbs,
Exactly.
etc.
All they probably
I
wear
have
is
to
a
say,
green glove, and then they
green glove, and then
edit
they
it
just
out, yeah.
erase it off.
Yeah.
Exactly. They edit it out. And the first one, of course, was Gary Sinise back in
In
Forrest
Forrest Gump.
Shocking.
Yeah.
He lost his legs.
And now it's down to a
Now
science.
it's down to a science. And in fact, the film we're going to review later on today, Where the Hell is Monday? One of the great, truly one of the true just CGI masterpieces of late, I must
yeah, I
say.
agree, yeah.
We have 7 different variations of Numi Rapace.
Yes.
But let's get to this film. It's a heist movie. Goes through the meticulous
Each stage,
variations
back and
of
forth,
how we're going to do this. They have it all
flashbacks.
planned out.
Yeah.
I do like the way it is. It is never really presented to us, the viewer, except in the fact that it happens
Yeah.
before us. So we are kind of impressed. Even to
It's not
times
chronologically presented
precise,
to us.
and even when we think certain things have happened, we then realize later
Which
that
is
hey, there was a
exactly
thought
how they did it in
behind
the Ocean's
the
films.
Ocean's film. I mean, now I'll go right into my review of this
Please
film
do.
if you'd like.
I like you too.
The one thing I am not happy about with Steven Soderbergh's film is they have a very not sour, but they have a misdirected sense of energy. We get into these scenes, there's like a flat line going on. There's like no energy there at all. And then the energy in the scene kind of begins to metamorphosize itself. And let me tell you, folks, I've never metamorphosized I didn't like. But, oh, please, stop. Stop. Okay, enough. But, all right, okay, thank you.
It's neither here nor
That's
there.
what I keep saying. But so we have this this energyless kind of generation that goes into each scene, and then the comedy in the scene kind of brings the whole thing to life. I felt almost like this wasn't really. I think the film needed better editing. I think the reason why it failed at the box office because I think this film could have been a big hit, but the editing sensed it all wrong. Steven just has this way of not making a film flow nicely.
Well, I don't think an audience member is going to gauge the editing just from the trailers. I just think maybe the marketing in this film was off, and they didn't know how to market it. It's kind of a bizarre film. I think that maybe the NASCAR element might have turned some people off because that's very big down south, but the rest of the country could give a rat's ass about NASCAR.
No, that has nothing to do with it. I mean, you look at a film like Baby Driver, for example. Now, that's a beautifully edited little piece of work. We have a little chase
but the audience,
but
but my point is, I don't think the editing is going to affect the fact that people didn't go see it in the theater. You're saying it was not a big hit, but you can't gauge the editing of a film until you see it. So people not going to. I know, but you're saying the reason it didn't do well in the box office is because of the editing. People
in the scorecards that are given out to audiences before a film even hits the theaters. I think the editing.
You're
really
talking about test screenings.
Yes,
but that's not going to affect the opening weekend box office.
The whole pacing of this film. That's all I'm saying. The pace of the film just lacked. It goes into like a dead space after each scene almost. There's
I would agree that I think the film dragged a tad.
Yeah, it did.
But I'm just saying that I don't think until you see the film that you're going to know that. So I don't think that can affect box office. The only thing maybe it could affect box office is word of mouth going forward. But I don't think opening weekend's box office can be affected by a bad pacing until the audience is seeing the film.
Well,
how can you judge pacing until you see it? But that's my point.
You just said to me tonight, the way it is tracking the Stephen King-based clown film, previously with Tim Curry as a TV movie, and now it's tracking at a $50 million opening. Because of the test audience that they're showing these films to, and the excitement.
No. That's being gauged by interest on clicks on the trailers, social media awareness, conversation.
All right.
This film.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that...
All right, maybe so.
It's a very odd film in terms of you're presenting white trash characters robbing a NASCAR event. That's a very niche storyline. I don't think a lot of people even know about it. Look, we had dinner tonight, right? Yes. And we spoke to a girl who's obviously, I would say, millennial age. She didn't know anything about Logan Lucky. Out of the 3 movies we mentioned, she goes, maybe I heard of Wind River. So my point is... A film needs a lot of social media traction these days to get the millennial crowd in, and they are the biggest movie-going audience.
Well, regardless.
So if this film was not properly marketed to that demographic, you're not going to get the numbers.
Well, you're missing the point of my whole review here. My review is that I'm saying this film could have been changed a great deal in the editing.
No, I agree with you.
Where it would have been greatly more appealing as an audience member to sit there and watch this thing, just kind of blog on from scene to lackluster scene. I mean, there was great comedy in this. I did like certain scenes. I liked certain things, but they kind of just started off in such a lull that it took a while. The film never really peaked, and yet I still like the movie. I still give it a thumbs up. I thought it was fun. I thought it was okay. I liked their characterization. It's good to see Daniel Craig doing something completely off the wall.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Channing Tatum, once again, is proving right down the road that he's a really good actor.
No, he is.
He's just excellent in everything he's in.
Everybody in this film does a really good job playing the roles. I thought Seth MacFarlane was such a douchebag in this movie.
He was terrific.
He was great.
He was great.
He plays this British energy drink proprietor who's kind of made a deal with a rival racer in this race. Right. And he's such a jerk. And he has a rivalry going on with Channing Tatum and Adam Driver in this film.
Perfect choice for the role of him, too.
He's great.
Seth really does.
I didn't know it was him at first, honestly, until I saw his face.
His face gave it away, obviously. Very true.
But yeah, he was such
Adam
a jerk.
Driver was fantastic.
He was great.
He's so low key. Everybody's so low key in this movie.
Yeah, it was well done.
As I say, I thought I was waiting for Casey Affleck to come stepping out of nowhere and just bring the film even more to a lull. But I still like the film. It has a quiet kind of comedy to it that was enjoyable and subtle and very dry humor. There was no outrageous. Every once in a while, we might have a little bit of some, just some, meticulous little slapstick, but most of the time not. Most of the time.
You know who's, and usually I like this actress, but you know who I didn't really care for in this role, in this movie? was Hilary Swank. I didn't.
I liked her at the end.
Yeah, I did. I liked her in the last shot, but I didn't care for her.
Spoiler.
I didn't care for her.
Spoiler alert.
No, we're not going to spoil anything. I'm just saying she's in this film.
Well, she comes on at the end.
Well, no, I'm just saying. We didn't have to reveal it at the end, but I like her last scene. But
now people are going to say, "Where's Hilary Swank? Where's Hilary?"
There she is. Well, she doesn't show up till the last 10, 15 minutes of the movie anyway.
I know.
She's an FBI investigator.
She's an FBI person.
But I don't know. I don't know. If something about her performance I didn't like, but
I did like.
I didn't think it was a bad performance.
No, I thought she was
but
good.
something about it didn't sit well.
She played,
but I liked seeing
her
her sidekick Mason Blair in this film. He's the guy who was in Blue Ruin, and he also was the one that wrote that movie we talked about a few months ago. I don't belong in this world anymore.
Oh, right.
If I remember the title correctly, he's usually in some. He was in Green Room as well. He's usually in some dark indie films. It was nice to see him getting a pretty big, high-profile role.
I thought Hilary Swank was kind of doing almost a scenario from Fargo. She was playing that kind of a strict, kind of southern.
No, I could see that.
FBI kind of cop.
I just something about it just didn't feel. I don't know. It didn't ring true to me.
No, I liked Hilary. I thought she was good in this.
I probably liked the film maybe a little better than you did. I really enjoyed it.
No, I did enjoy it.
I didn't have issues with the pacing as much, but I did feel. They could have trimmed a little bit.
I thought it dragged on.
I know.
It was a 2-hour film.
I thought it dragged a little bit towards. I'd say the last 30 minutes or so. I thought they could have trimmed a little bit. Right as the heist was finishing, there were some moments where I started like, let's go a little bit, you know.
All right.
But overall, I recommend it. It's a yes for me.
I do too. It's a yes for me.
Yes.
Also.
It's a colorful film.
It's colorful.
The trailers are saying the most American movie of the year, and I could
lensed.
I could see that.
It's a white trash movie all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it really goes into the rudiments of the Southern mentality, and almost more so than perhaps we might want to see. But at the same time,
but it worked. It was a film.
I'm surprised Donald Trump didn't do a rare cameo in this, and they could have bowed down and all carved swastikas on their foreheads.
I think the average person that would be at a NASCAR event probably voted for him, I would say. Not all, not generalizations, but a lot of them, that is his base.
Okay. Well, I think it's more of the Southern. I mean, if we did the Indianapolis 500 I don't think, I think those aren't necessarily all white trash folk, but this is simply just because of the setting down in the South as it is. I liked the film, though. I did. I enjoyed it. It's a little lengthy.
And I would say, in terms of white, I mean, I don't think all the characters came across as that stereotypical white trash. I would say Daniel Craig's two brother characters definitely kind of fit that mold.
Come on, everybody. Channing Tatum, his sister, Adam Driver, they were all kind of
I don't know. I mean, but they weren't all living in like trailers.
Well,
Channing Tatum kind of lived in a trailer.
White trash is more of an educational thing, more almost than a. And I shouldn't say that because there are many white trash folks. If you want to use, and I use the term white trash evading to a lesser of an education, perhaps, of folk. They can live in, as far as I'm concerned, Donald Trump is white trash. He just happens to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
But, there's a certain mentality that overtakes that particular unkind phrase of white trash. And I
picture white trash.
But there still is intelligence. There's still intelligence.
I picture trailer park. I picture education. I agree with. I picture a lot of them can be in crime, alcoholism, moonshine, bootleg, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Anyway, I know what you're saying.
A guy introduces his wife, and it's him and his sister standing there.
But
It's neither here nor there.
So, anyway, so two yeses for Lucky Logan.
2 yeses for Logan Lucky.
We're ready at 18 minutes. we got to move forward real quick.
Man. It's
Logan Lucky.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we're going to move on to The Hitman's Bodyguard.
Which you saw,
which I did just see this afternoon. It stars Ryan Reynolds. It stars...
I really didn't want to see it.
I don't blame you one iota.
It looks like everything I've seen before. It looked like a very
commercial, formulaic film.
The two of them playing roles we've seen before.
Exactly so. It had a very strong feeling, almost of a Michael Bay film.
Okay.
It is very extreme. Everything about this movie was over the top extreme.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is really our soul. Although once Sam Jackson gets going, the comedy between them is actually quite... funny.
I think they both do comedy very well.
They do indeed. There was a great hilarity about this film. I did enjoy it, but the violence in this film I haven't seen in a long time. It was so intense. And this is an R-rated violent film. There's blood all over the place. There's more explosions. I think the worst thing about this film was the volume. I saw it in the Atmos Dolby cinema there at the Garden State. It's so loud, my God. But this film was just rumbling. I mean, there was no let up at all. We just went one incredibly staged chase scene to another.
What time was your movie? At 1 o'clock?
I saw the 2 o'clock show.
We must have just missed each other.
There
I
you
was
go.
leaving.
All right.
Yeah.
I saw the 2 o'clock show.
I got
It
out
didn't
at
start till
1:44.
2:20.
Yeah.
And I didn't get out of there till about, and it ran literally right up until about 4:15. I didn't get to my car till whatever. I got home just in time to do the show for you ungrateful people out there, all 30 of you. But anyway, no, we know you're grateful and we love you. If you're the only ones who do come here. So it's
neither here nor there.
so true indeed. But I like this film a lot. I mean, I can't say I liked it a lot, but there's a young lady in this film who plays Ryan Reynolds' on-again, off-again girlfriend. She kind of has a Wonder Woman vibe to her. I kind of liked her. It's really a serious film with just the comedy. I mean, everybody in this film is out to kill everybody. Gary Oldman is once again...
He's the villain,
He's
as usual.
the villain as usual. Gary's in almost every other film I see, it seems.
Yeah.
He's just the hardest working man in showbiz. I gotta tell, him and James Brown, Papa's got a brand new bag. Ow, good God, looky here. But I'll tell you, I did by the end of the film, it kind of won me over, but it's so loud and so absolutely impactful. You literally walk out of there with part of your brain cells just, sitting in your
And the volume has to be 1,000 decibels, of course, every
It
time
completely
now in
is
theaters.
because, and
it's too much.
very often when I see these, when I go into a IMAX or a Dolby Atmos, and they give you that what you're watching now is incredible, and they play that
You get
that
like
bass that runs from and it's body shuddering. You can feel your liver just going as it's playing at you. It's just so intense and absolutely volume-esque, and it's incredible. And very rarely does a film I ever see live up to that sound. Well, this film, oh my God, this put those speakers to the test.
I'm sure it did.
It really did. I have to say, it was just it was outrageously intense. But at the same time, I do like Ryan Reynolds. I find him very comedically. I think he's a gifted actor. I like him.
I agree with you.
I think he's terrific. I mean, I think he's perfect for Deadpool. And Sam Jackson, who I'm very sick of at this point because he's in every fourth film ever made and all the Marvel films, of course. But I still like him, and I found this film kind of endearing, although it's going to be a while before I sit back and watch this one again. Yeah, it was a little. Although in my own home, it would be nice to just be able to turn the volume a little bit more down and appreciate it. But it's so intense. It just goes from high octane scene to another. Last week we did talk about the lovely and beautiful and mocha goddess Miss Halle Berry in Kidnap, which also is a very high octane film. But it's high octane enough to give us a proper... That gave us time to think. As
there were lulls a little bit.
There were lulls that we got to go, well, she's still going after. God, she's persistent. God, she keeps going. This movie was just an explosion after explosion. Yeah. So I give it a thumbs up, but, it's got more of your MTV mindset. I
understand.
Brain edited.
Leave your brain at the door big time.
Pretty much.
All right, so while we move on, I'll do the synopsis for our next film.
If you would.
Wind River is currently in theaters. Stars Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen. So this film takes place in the very...
To your health, ladies and gents.
Yes. It takes place in a very, very cold and desolate Wyoming wilderness.
It does.
Indian
reservation.
An Indian reservation called Wind River, where Jeremy Renner plays a game hunter. His job is to just go out there and kill predators like wolves and lions that are in the wild. And so he discovers a dead body of a young woman. And so the story, again, then unfolds as an FBI agent is called in, played by Elizabeth Olsen.
Correct.
Who's a very young agent who's trying to just kind of do the bare minimum at first to just, hey, I'm just here to establish blah, blah, blah. And then they're going to send in a team. And then she realizes that, oh, my gosh, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm not going to get the kind of help I need. There's an impending snowstorm. So she decides, well, I'm going to try to crack this case with Jeremy Renner's help, who knows the area, the terrain. He happens to know the girl. And so they kind of team up and try to figure out who murdered this girl and why.
It's a very small town.
Very small
based
town in
on
Wyoming.
An Indian reservation. Most of the people in the film are Indians.
Exactly. And I was very happy to see the local sheriff played by Graham Greene. Yeah. He's great. I haven't seen him in a while. He's really good.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's a few other actors. they show the father of the deceased girl. He's a Native American actor who's been in a lot of stuff.
Right.
He's very good in this film.
He was wonderful.
His name is Gil Birmingham, and I like him a lot.
He was
I believe he was in the Twilight series.
All right, very possible.
But yes, so this film is, it's very, very riveting. I love these kind of films. I love investigative movies.
Yeah.
I love movies with where they're trying to hunt a killer. I love Seven. I love the Department Q films we've discussed on this show. This one reminded me at times of Fargo in terms of the atmosphere. You're in stark, bleak whiteness. You're in the snow. You're in the wilderness. You're dealing with some pretty despicable characters at times.
Film we just saw recently with Jeff Bridges and I believe
Hell or High Water, same writer.
Hell or High Water,
same writer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
All I could think to myself is I'm watching the same film basically.
Yeah.
A very quiet, flat line. We go and then suddenly, wham!
Bam.
Big burst of violence.
Yeah. Same exact writer.
Basic.
He also
not
wrote
surprised.
Taylor Sheridan. He also wrote Sicario. He's a very good writer. Yeah.
Okay.
And so
very good indeed.
Yeah. So this film, and this was his directorial debut also.
Okay.
In a feature. I thought this was an excellent film. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't bored. I was engaged the entire time. And when you get the plot revelations, that awesome sequence in the trailer, you know the one I'm talking about?
Which trailer?
Well, it's like, towards the end, where they do the flashback of what happened. We get a flashback of what actually transpired.
Yeah. Right.
That whole sequence.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so engaging.
It was.
And you're sitting there, and you're seeing, without any spoilers, you're seeing what happened and who did what.
Right.
And you get a glimpse of these characters. And you're just like, oh, these guys are such scumbags. And I hate those kind of characters.
True, indeed. But at the same time, you get a feeling for their desperation.
Well, you understand why they did what they did without condoning it.
Exactly.
I agree with you,
And you get this feel of there's nobody out here.
I know.
We're by ourselves.
Yeah, that's it. He's like, there's no fun here. I know what
exactly.
you're saying.
And
but you can't just go rape somebody because you're bored.
Well, I got to say, getting into this movie for me took probably a little bit longer for you. I wasn't absorbed right away. I felt a very serious blandness about all the characters. Nobody had any emotion. We have we do have Jeremy Renner. He's married to an Indian woman. His daughter.
He's divorced.
Well, okay, that's right. They're separated or divorced or whatever, but their daughter had died, and when a daughter dies and she's kind of murdered in a strange, almost the same scenario as the girl at the beginning, she just suddenly disappears.
We learn that as backstory.
Right.
Yeah.
Her body is found, but we know that their daughter has died right
away.
beginning.
Yeah.
And you can tell that that's why they obviously broke up.
It destroyed the relationship.
Obviously so. But the film had a bland kind of, once again, that flatlining sense of, I'm not trying to parallel. I'm not trying to parallel.
Head or High Water.
No, Channing Tatum. And,
Lucky Logan.
Lucky Logan
Lucky.
here, but I just felt kind of there was an immersion factor that for me as an audience member, I'm looking at my watch a lot. I'm thinking, oh boy, I got 2 solid hours of this, and we're kind of going here, and there's the Indian guy. All right, we go, and they're going here, and they're checking out this, and of course as leads come in. But I will say, this film totally 100% won me over. Yeah. And I think, and I'm not going to exactly say what it is, but it was the final scene in the film. It's so just heartfelt, and tears were pouring down my face. I absolutely loved it. There was just an endearingness that suddenly everything kind of came together in a real solid bit of brilliance, and just... The acting was good.
I thought it was well acted.
You could just feel, and I blame that blandness on the characters, but then again, the characters were like perfectly written because that is the scenario or the sicario in which they live. They live in this horribly bleak wilderness out in Wyoming where there's only 2 seasons there, winter and July 18th.
And
so they're freezing their ass
off.
There's
2 lines I want to mention that go along with what you're saying. The first is that there's a line where Elizabeth Olsen says to everybody, because she's coming from Vegas, her character. She's like, I thought this was spring.
She's the fish out of water. Yeah, right.
And then there's a line to go along with what you're saying about the way these characters are and the environment they live in. Jeremy Renner has a line in the film where he says, you know what? You don't live out here. You survive out here.
Right.
And so... that essence for survival, that need to survive in a very harsh environment, much like what I imagine Alaska must be like, it makes you a different kind of a person
true.
in many ways than the rest of the country.
And you've got to say the hell, why do they stay there?
Well, that's all they know.
But that's all they know, you know.
There's a scene where one of two characters are talking, and one character is speculating about, oh, let's go to New York, let's go to Los Angeles, let's go to Chicago. And the other character's like, you'd hate it in New York. It's just concrete. You're not going to see any grass. And then you don't want to go to Chicago because that's just New York, but it's colder.
And then you realize that you're socially a misfit.
Yeah.
And you really couldn't even go to a city that has, you know, you're such an outcast being living and having adapted to this kind of environment. So I got to hand it to Jeremy Renner, though. You know, we see him in the Marvel films.
I know.
And, you know,
he gets wasted in those films.
He did the Jason Bourne film, you know, but he is a fine actor, and I
he's
thought
good.
he did a great job. I liked him in the Jason Bourne movie.
I thought he was good in that. I didn't care for the film, but I thought he was good.
No,
I
he
did what he could with it.
No, I mean, it was what it was. True.
In essence, he was given a thankless position.
Right, because Matt couldn't make the movie or didn't want to
make the movie. We
didn't
didn't want to unless Paul Greengrass was going to direct it.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway, so we both liked it. 2 yeses for Wind River. Why don't we move on to Away?
Okay.
And I think one of your dogs has given us a fragrance in the air that I can really
I don't think
feel overtaking me right now.
Oh, really? Is it is that a fragrance that you would normally poo-poo?
Well, no, yeah, I think it's something.
You would poo-poo
it's
that
a
kind
windy
of
fragrance. I don't necessarily think that there's a solid associated with it.
But perhaps there's a wafting.
I'm experiencing a wafting breeze.
Perhaps there's a wafting anal breeze.
There's some kind of matter floating in the air.
Well, that could very well be. There is a young. There is my young pup.
He probably spoke to us through his other hole.
Well, you know, it's
neither here nor there.
No, it's over there.
Probably everywhere. It is now encompassed us.
So we're going to do a British film called Away, starring Timothy Spall and Juno Temple.
And I want you all to try and find this film because it is a really rewarding little masterpiece, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's available online.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope you can find this. It's just called Away, as in running away.
It came out, I believe, 2015 or 2016.
I believe 2016 this
Double
came
check.
out, but I could be wrong.
God, those dogs.
But
Neither here.
Woo.
yeah.
It's neither here nor there.
Let's speed that up.
Here nor there.
You sure that's what it is? You sure
Yes,
it's not you?
it's not me. Believe me.
Maybe you have a, you know.
I don't know if it was me. It was 2016, by the way.
Yeah, I said that.
Well, no, we thought maybe it was 2015.
All right, so Juno Temple, she's a young lady. She comes across a guy who's in his apartment. He's trying to kill himself. He's played by the wonderful Timothy Spall.
Great actor.
He's a great British actor. When you saw his ugly puss, you'd know, oh, I know that guy. He was in Spinal Tap. He was in... was he in Spinal Tap?
No, you're thinking of Rockstar.
I am thinking of Rockstar.
That was the first time I saw him.
I really loved him in that movie.
He was in one of the Harry Potter
kind
films.
Of guy, you know, he was that guy. He talked like this.
He's kind of a heavier actor that's lost quite a bit of weight as of late.
Yeah.
And he looks a lot better now.
He plays a 57-year-old man in this film, but he's actually 60.
In real life, I know. I looked it up.
Yeah, yeah. But he's wonderful.
He's very good.
There's little Juno Temple. She was just recently on the Vinyl series.
Yeah, she's excellent.
She's really good little
She's been in a lot of
actress,
movies. She was
lot
in
of
Killer
stuff.
Joe with McConaughey.
She was indeed. And she was also in a
Dark
more
Knight
recent...
Rises. She's been in a bunch of stuff.
Was she in Dark Knight Rises?
She played Anne Hathaway's friend. Her friend that was like hanging around with her.
Oh, okay.
When she wasn't Catwoman.
Well, she was wonderful in Vinyl.
Vinyl,
I mean, she was hopping into bed with a whole bunch of guys, and there was just a whole cool vibe about her.
She's a very sultry actress.
Very sultry, but she's very British at the same time. And when she plays British, she's even better.
Yeah.
Because and this is truly a British film, and it's just kind of a strange relationship film. It's just a young girl befriends this old man.
It's kind of a dark film.
It's a dark film because he wants to kill himself because of a reason about kind of an assisted suicide thing that happened with his wife, and I hope I'm not giving too much away.
Well, that's kind of a spoiler right
A little bit. I do apologize for that.
He's grieving over the death of his wife.
He's grieving over the death of his wife, and he's very upset, and he just wants to die. So he is befriended by this woman who has come to his rescue, more or less.
Well, they're both staying at a hotel in a resort, like a resort shoreside town.
Precisely.
They're both kind of escaping their lives.
Right.
She's on the run. She's done some things she shouldn't have done.
Right.
And so she's trying to kind of
being chased
get
down
away.
by a drug dealer who was after her, who was her boyfriend, and she kind of screwed him over.
And there's also some pimping involved, I believe.
Very possible.
A little bit.
Very possible.
There's
I think
implied.
she tried to pimp him off like Gladys and the Pimps.
No, he tried to pimp her off, I think.
I just said that.
Well, you said she tried to pimp him off.
No, I meant he tried to pimp her off, like Gladys and the Pimps.
But, there was some things about this film that I really was surprised by that I liked a lot. I mean, obviously I was very impressed with their performance. I thought they were both perfectly cast.
Both perfect. And
they're both
great
very
chemistry
good.
between them.
It was excellent the whole way. Their relationship is plausible. I believed it, and I liked it a lot.
Absolutely.
But I was very moved by. I really thought the score was really enveloping. I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
and I
great
thought
music.
there were a lot of visual cues that I didn't expect. A lot of vibrant colors, a lot of interesting backgrounds for the locations. Like there's one scene where they're in an aquarium speaking.
I love that.
Another one
Yeah.
where they're
walking through it, and the aquarium runs
yeah,
right
it's
over
beautiful.
the
There's
little-
another one
it's
where
like a bridge. Yeah,
they're
it's
doing
very
the
cool.
camera's doing some 360-degree pans around Juno Temple,
Right.
and she's outside of an amusement park, and the colors are just all around her. It was
No,
very
it's very,
psychedelic.
no, it's very
There's scenes with
unique.
neon signs, and it was reminiscent of Vegas. And they're in a tower in one scene, and another scene they're on a roller coaster. It's just there's a lot because the subject matter does not necessarily lend itself
Very true.
to a lot of a wide audience.
You can tell
And
when a filmmaker has love for his.
he does,
for
and he
his
gives
subject.
us some interesting backgrounds
Absolutely.
to get us through the bleak material. And I thought
Sure.
it was really effective for me, and I really enjoyed it. I give it a big yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I
And
really enjoyed this
I
film.
had seen it the previous week, and I got you to watch
You
it. I'm
did.
so grateful I did
Yeah,
because I
it's very
loved
good.
it. I just loved it. Timothy Spall, you're going to see his picture probably right over there. Or
One of our
possibly
two
right over
corners
there.
here.
One of our two
Here
corners, and he's
or
just
over here?
amazing in this movie as this horribly darkened man who just wants to leave this world because of
With grief. Grief is a
of
mother-
grief.
grief
Grief is a
is a
very strong
motherfucker, as
thing.
they say.
But don't be, please don't be put off by that grief when you watch this film because it's so enlightening and it's just a warm bit of movie making.
It's a very human film.
Very much
you
so.
know.
And very, we don't see this kind of humanity in so many films. I mean, every film I basically have reviewed today, except for perhaps Wind River.
Yeah.
We had great humanity there. We didn't
Yeah.
have we had some humanity in Logan Lucky, and we had no humanity whatsoever in Hitman's Bodyguard. I mean, we just, it's so rare of a thing to get real human emotion that is so real and so vivid that it really just, Spielberg is just the master of
Yeah.
that. I mean, he just knows how to get your heartstrings and, he has that John Williams score sugarcoating
I know,
the
it's true.
tapestry behind you. And he's a great manipulator. But this film didn't use those kind of tricks, I feel. I felt that it just did it through the story and the acting. Capiche,
Yeah.
period. That was
Yeah.
it. And it's a rare thing, and it's a rare find, and a big
It's definitely
thumbs
worth
up
checking
for me.
out.
That's right. A big yes.
So we're gonna move on to number 5, a movie that you saw called 6 Days.
I did see this film. I'm going to review this very briefly. It stars the very beautiful and lovely woman who is near and dear to my lower
He loves
extremities.
her.
Lower extremities more so than this head, but the other head involved in my person. Her name is Abby Cornish, and I of course loved her in that little bizarre
Candy.
little film. No,
Right?
no,
Is that the film you liked her in, Candy?
I loved her in. I guess.
Sucker Punch.
Yes, Sucker Punch. Oh my
Yes.
God, she's just so
Zack
wonderful
Snyder's
in that.
film.
And I've seen Abby before. Of course, she was just in that movie I reviewed recently, the one with Anthony Hopkins was in it.
Yes. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, unfortunately, but it's
And
not.
she was
important,
in, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't she in with Bradley Cooper? She was in the one with the pill that he takes.
Oh,
Limitless.
Limitless?
I think she was in that
That's
too.
very possible.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love Abby.
And Mark Strong's in this film too.
Mark Strong
Who I
is
love.
in this. Now, I'm going to say this very briefly. This is about a 1980 takeover of the Iran embassy in England. And,
Interesting.
nowadays...
Never heard of that story.
Yeah, it was. In fact, they had about 20 some odd hostages in there. They took it over, and Abby Cornish plays the actual British reporter who is outside. Now, Mark Strong plays the head of the Interpol, the British
course he does.
police, the British FBI, if you would, or the M6 or whoever they are.
MI6,
But
yeah.
anyway, I want to say, and the whole reason I wanted to review this film is so I could use this very line. Mark Strong literally phones in his performance because he's on the phone the entire film.
I'm sure.
So he phones this whole I mean, I kid you not. He literally is sitting at a desk on the phone talking to our hostage takers, our horrible terrorist humanoids who are demanding this and demanding that, and we're going to kill this person and let you get us what we want, and blah, blah, blah. We go on. It's a very short film. It's not really even a... I'm not even going to say it's kind of a thumbs up. I'm going to give it a mild thumbs up just because of the severity of the intensity and how I felt just watching this. I was on the edge of my seat, and I like that. I mean, these hostage situations are only going to end, either tragedy or not so much tragedy.
Yeah.
But but we get to know everybody in this, and it's really quite it's quite a piece of work, I have to say. This might have even been a British television movie. I don't know.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too. I think it probably, but you might find it somewhere. It's just called 6 Days, not to be confused with the Arnold Schwarzenegger film.
That's called The Sixth Day.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're
But
It's neither here nor there.
That's what I think. So, wait, can I say that quicker?
It's neither here nor there. It's neither here. It's neither here.
So, it kind of fun, kind of young,
Okay.
kind of wow, Charlie. Okay, so
we move
let's
on?
move on. Yeah, that's all I have to say about 6 Days.
Our next film tonight.
It's okay. It's kind of a good little, intense little terrorist film.
All right, well, it's
Felt like
interesting.
an episode of Homeland.
I don't know if I'm going to watch it anytime soon.
Homeland,
but
perhaps.
I like the cast.
Yeah, you might enjoy
Mark
it.
Strong has great presence.
So does
Great
Abby.
voice.
Abby's very wasted in this film,
Yeah.
unfortunately. She's very cute and she's very. She's just got a certain sense of charm to her,
Yeah.
and great sexuality. There's no question. She just oozes. I mean, I'm telling you, just talking about it, I'm getting a little, But
little Chubesque down there?
just probably a bit Chubesque, yeah, in my lower extremities.
All right,
I'm
so
fully engorged at this point.
Let's move
you
on.
better keep your knee safely away.
yeah, please.
But,
So number 6
gonna
we're
move
going to do a
on.
film called Shot Caller.
All right, let's
This
do it.
is a new film that's right now. It just premiered on DirecTV. You can watch it exclusively on DirecTV.
Exclusive.
With Nikolai Costa. I always say his name.
It's
It's Nikolai Costa Waldorf from. It's a
Costa
tough
Rica.
name to say.
Just say Costa Rica.
Anyway, he plays Jamie Lannister on Game of Thrones.
Plays Jamie
all right?
Lannister on Game of Thrones.
You know who he is.
Yeah,
It's
he's
just
a
a tough thing to say.
striking-looking
I
human
apologize
being.
to him for not getting his name right. I
Right,
apologize. I feel bad about that.
He's never going to watch this show.
I
so
always,
he
I know,
doesn't
but I
care.
always try to make an effort to say people's names right.
Well, God bless you.
I know.
As Tiny
So-
Tim would say.
Shot Caller is the second film in a row that he plays a criminal in prison. So
What was the other one?
The other one was the other Netflix one called not Hard Crimes, right? Remember that one?
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah.
gets out of
that
prison.
was just god-awful.
That
I
was
think
okay.
You liked it, yeah.
I thought it was okay.
I
so
didn't care for
this
that.
film is a little different where he gets out and he is a guy who is in charge of a crew. He is a big drug distributor in Los Angeles in this film.
Okay.
And so the film tells the story of while he's out of prison.
Yeah.
And then it goes to flashbacks showing us in prison and how he got into prison.
Uh-huh.
And without going into all the minutiae of the plot,
Oh, Joey. Go
it's just a prison film in and out. And you see that his family was kind of torn apart by all this business because he was originally a straight shooter. He was a business guy, Wall Street guy kind of a thing in L.A.
straight shooter.
And then
if you know what I
eventually,
mean.
because of a tragedy that occurs, he ends up in prison.
Right.
And becomes a hardened criminal
Hardened.
behind bars.
He's got the tats.
Yeah, which is what happens to a lot of people in prison. They call it gladiator academies because you come out of there totally different than when you went in.
Yeah, right.
And so this film...
And it's harder to sit down also.
Yeah,
when
it
you
is.
come
Yeah,
out.
yeah. And this film, it features, the tensions between different races in the prison.
Yeah.
You see people smuggling things in their ass. All the usual checklist of things you see in a prison film. You see it here.
All the things I want to know about.
Exactly.
When I watch any prison film, that's all I'm really interested
so-
in. How'd they sneak that up
But
there?
the interesting.
Oh, that hurt.
All right, let's go.
Ouch.
All right, we got to move on. We're running low on time. The appeal of this film is that he's a really good actor. I like him a lot.
He is good.
I thought this film was much better than his other prison film.
Which ain't saying much because this is one humorless little bit
yeah, it's not. There's
there's
no humor.
No. There's not one comic moment where
There
you
isn't.
can relate as
No.
a human
But you don't
being.
always need comedy. To
I
relate.
do. I want a little bit, just
little
to humanize people.
So you mean you could? What about Schindler's List? There's no humor in
There
Schindler's
was
List.
humor in Schindler's List.
Where?
Absolutely. Oh, come on. When Ray Fiennes is out there with a gun picking off Jews.
That wasn't funny.
But it was funny in his mentality. To him, he was just doing target practice. It was like he was at the county fair.
But I don't know anybody that would have laughed at that.
No, but I'm just saying there was dark humor in that film. And also we had,
I guess so.
we had Ben Kingsley doing, well, you could do this or you could do that. I mean, no, people were real. And when they're real, people are being real. There is we all present humor, tragedy, this, that. We all present everything in every word we say. Just listen to me, for God's sakes. But he says,
Well,
but
you're
it's
more
so
comical
true.
than most
I am
people.
more comical than most. It's
You're
true.
always on like
Yeah,
Robin
but
Williams.
well, not always.
Most of
Indeed.
the time.
Well, Robin's not on anything anymore, the poor man, except he was on his door handle, I suppose,
was.
at one particular
So
point.
anyway, back to Shot Caller.
Didn't love it.
I'm giving it a yes.
I give it a big no.
Oh.
It's beautifully filmed. It's
It's well
nicely
done.
acted.
I thought it was
but,
well acted.
man.
John
It was just
Bernthal's
too
also
long.
in this
It went
film, our new
nowhere.
Punisher.
The ending is
well, I don't want to say it.
No, let's not.
This
talk
is
about
a
the ending.
bleak film from
It's very
beginning to
bleak.
end.
It's very serious. But I thought
And when
it
I
was
say beginning to end, you know what I mean.
No. You know, one of the main
Prison
reasons.
is no place
All right.
for any.
One of the main reasons that I recommend this film
Please
is
tell me
because
why.
I think that it's great, and I applaud the fact that he's getting film roles now, and he's leading films now, but he is starting to get a little typecast of these darker characters. So
Yeah,
for
come
his
on.
sake, I hope he can kind of branch out of
I
that.
hope he can branch out of that.
But you know, for a movie you catch on cable or something, I would say check out Shot Caller.
Nor there.
I didn't do.
I was
anything
happy
for
I
me.
watched it.
I was so glad it
I
was
thought the
over.
cast was
when
good.
it finally ended, I was just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God, another notch on my cinematic belt for the
I mean,
week.
does the film bring anything new to the table? Not
No.
really. But
there
I
great
thought
acting in this
But I
film?
thought it
No.
was good. I thought it was good
Is
acting, though.
the acting is adequate.
It's good.
Is it great? Is there any?
No, but not every movie's gonna have
one's
great,
gonna
great
win
acting.
Well,
No.
you want something.
Yeah,
out
but
of
you're
your
not always
movie.
going to get that.
I mean, I did like the scene where
I didn't think there were any bad
I'll tell you what I
performances.
did like. There was a scene at the end or somewhere near where there's a cage scene. That I
Well,
kind of
that's where
thought
there's
was
like
cool.
they have like the
that was
heavy, the bosses of the
right,
different gangs.
Right. That
They're in
was
these
kinda
cages
cool.
outside.
I
yeah.
know, so bizarre.
Solitary.
That was kind of neat.
That was
That
neat.
I like. But
I'd never seen that before.
Why do you put somebody in solitary outside? That
To
kind
get,
of
well, no,
defeats
that's
the
their
whole-
hour of exercise outside.
Oh, I see.
That's
so
what that
they're
was.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so pigeons can come and fly
All right,
over.
so we'll
and,
move on
You know.
to our seventh film is
Our seventh film is, of course, the incredible Akira Kurosawa film from
Seven
1950,
Samurai.
I do believe this film.
1954.
54, forgive me.
Yes.
The Seven Samurai.
It is a flashback
it
film,
is
a classic film we're discussing.
Absolutely.
I had never seen it up until last week.
It's 3 hours and 30 minutes long. It's almost 3 films
I know.
of our 1 hour and
Of
20.
course, we've all seen Magnificent Seven in the reboot.
We have indeed. This
So
was
you-
the
you
film
know
they
that,
were all came
you know
from.
this story, this
was
was the
the
original.
origin, the root.
Yes.
This was the basic crux of
Yes.
of creation, if you will. So, okay, well, we
Directed
start
by
out,
Akira Kurosawa.
Exactly, one of the absolute most brilliant
A
directors
master.
who ever
He is a
lived.
master.
And not only is he a master of just staging.
Yes.
Some great directors, John Ford, he was a great
Yeah.
director of staging, and he
Yes.
was great at bringing out performances
Understood,
also.
yes, I agree.
And that is what Akira Kurosawa, who, if you want to put anybody who is in that same league, is a John Ford.
Yeah.
Who had that, and Howard Hawks. We had people who would stage big, incredible scenario events of Custer's Last This and great, wagon trains being assaulted. This is basically a Western film. There's no
It
question.
is.
We have bows and arrows, and we have
Spears
but
and
we have
muskets.
samurais that are. And to be a samurai, of course, is the leading essence of
Yeah.
it's like a
Jedi.
5-star general, if you
Yeah.
would, or a Jedi, if, to go into a more plain and simplistic.
But that's basically what they were. They were the defenders. They
pretty
were,
much.
But they were also almost mercenaries where they worked for hire.
they're hired killers. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically what they are. And of
They're
course,
defending a village here from bandits.
defending a village who can't
in the
get
1500s.
their rice keeps getting floundered. They keep having to eat that
And the barley.
miserable grail stuff that
Yeah.
they all hate. It's just god awful. But they give up their life. So this particular one samurai who was kind of seduced into this whole thing, and he's outrageous,
He's great.
wonderful.
Excellent.
The true beauty of this film, and it's nothing to really go into on a great length of.
No, we
we
don't
could
need
sit
to.
here for 3 hours and talk about this movie.
We don't need to get too much into the
We could
plot.
watch the whole film while we're talking about it, and which maybe we should do some night. No, those numbers would just dwindle to even more of a slower depth of hell. That they reached into the very slimy depths of propriety's momentary god-sending decay. But without going into any detail. This film is just a brilliant characterization. We just have spectacular fight scenes here and there. I love Toshiro Mifune.
He's
in this
great.
movie, he plays a Kicharo.
Yeah.
Kicharo, who's a bumbling buffoon.
Drunk
He's
kind of
a
guy,
drunk. He's a nutcase.
But he's a very brave
I
character.
loved him.
Yeah.
He's very
He's
brave,
great.
and they can send him to do a one-man job,
Yeah.
and he'll just take everybody out because he's so nuts. He has no fear.
No.
So I loved it. We have just various people in this film. It just creates that incredible
Yeah.
chemistry of 7 guys, plus all the villagers. You know,
Yes.
as I go through, I've watched Throne of Blood, I've watched Yojimbo. I'm about to watch Ron, another Kurosawa
Yeah,
film.
I'd like to see
It's
that.
so strange how all these little mini characters who play the supporting roles, and they all have these funny little faces,
Yeah.
and it's all fun, and they're so good. and you just want to order some sweet and sour broccoli when you're finished watching movie.
That's Chinese food. These people were Japanese.
So you really want your meitang.
So what you want is hibachi.
Your tuna roll. No, you want your sushi. But regardless, this film is a true masterpiece. I mean, it's just a whole world of characters, defense, where it's just a war upon the bad guys, and kind of somewhat bad guys defending a village of people who turn out not to be so lily white themselves. They've got their own protocol. They're kind of doing their own scheming behind all the scenarios. So I love this film. I really do. I must say this, however, I'm going to say this very briefly. I told you to watch this movie.
You did.
And when I sat down, I watched it again, literally maybe a week or so before you saw it. Mm-hmm. And when I saw this, I realized this was not the film that I thought it was. I don't remember seeing this movie, Seven Samurai. I remember a specific film that I had seen many, many years ago. I think I was in high school when I saw this, and we're going back a ways, ladies and gentlemen.
That's true.
Not that far. Just shut up, you. But no, seriously. I saw this a long time ago, and I remember certain vivid scenes that were not in this film. So this was like seeing a film all over again. I don't even know if I ever even saw this movie, but the characters are vivid. It's just a great little piece of. It kind of ends rather sadly and yet abruptly for me.
It's a pretty poignant ending. I thought.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. I mean, it's
made sense.
It does indeed, and
reminded me of you see the famous pictures of World War I and II, where you see the soldiers' helmet hanging from the
grave,
butt of the rifle. That's what it reminded me of a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's quite a piece of work, and if you can brave through 3.5 hours of subtitles. And it's a horse drama. It's a western all the way, and it's really quite astoundingly made.
I will say that yes, I looking back on the film, I was just as expected, marveling at the precision of the filmmaking, what they were able to do in 1954.
I know, no special effects.
Yeah, present what I have read, and I always like to research the film after I see it.
Yeah.
And this film was commonly referred to as the first real big action movie, because the last 40 minutes is pure action for the most part.
Pretty much.
And so they have some fantastic
Japanese action film. We have plenty of action films.
No, but in terms of this particular way,
this was the scope.
But the way the story was told, and the way the action was presented, the composition of the scenes.
Yeah.
It kind of paved the way for bigger spectacled action films afterwards.
Absolutely true.
And so it was amazing staging, amazing set design, costumes,
absolutely
coordination,
just amazing
stunts, horse training.
Oh my God!
I mean, everything about this film was you could see why it's a Criterion film.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, I mean, each of these guys had to live up to the character they were playing. They had to master the sword. They had to master their
stage combat and all that stuff.
Their bow and arrow play. I mean, there's we have actors who go into Keanu Reeves goes into 6 months of
training,
hardcore training, so he can do John Wick 1, 2, 3.
And this movie, the whole finale's in that brutal rain and the mud. What an awful environment! That must have been hell to film.
Hell, unless there's just some guy off with a sprinkler. Just
although I'm saying they probably were doing that. They had the machines, I'm sure.
But
it still is not pleasant to act in that.
A lot of wind machines, fog machines. I mean, amazing.
It's a very well done film.
You got to admit. Incredible direction. It's really a director's movie.
It really is.
More so than anything else. It's a great story, but this is it's like when you watch a Hitchcock film, you don't always notice the great brilliance of each performance.
No.
You notice the whole film as a
whole. Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly what Kurosawa does.
He does.
He's one of those guys.
He outdid himself.
You've never appreciated a director such as he. Now is the time to get out your samurai and go chop off someone's head.
And
that's right.
I will just end on this note.
Unless his name is Donald Trump, then you may chop off his bloody head.
It is a film that everybody. You're going to feel obligated to see it. And I think any film buff, you should see it at least once.
You are a film buff.
You should see it at least once.
You need to see it. It really is wonderful. And once you get past that first... I mean, the subtitles and so forth, you're going to get used to them very quickly.
That shouldn't bother you at this point.
To me and him, it's
subtitles,
like
I don't care.
We watch subtitles all the time.
It doesn't bother me. However, I do want to just say the last thing, and this is the thing about this film, that I'll never watch it again.
Okay.
This was one of the roughest movies that I've ever experienced, having to sit through it. It was so damn long.
It's 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. This movie did not need to be 3.5 hours.
Okay.
I understand the storyline. I understand what he presented. You could have chopped an hour out of this movie and not lost anything.
You must now walk the earth, my child.
There is a lot of character development in this film.
You must now walk the earth to find yourself.
Yeah.
That's what you must now do. You have endured 3.5 hours of Seven Samurai.
It's
time
tough.
for you to get up, to walk the earth now.
It took me
go to earth
3
and
or
walk
4
through the earth. Now I go to walk earth.
Exactly.
It
took me about 4 sittings to get through this movie.
Just like Cain.
Just because I can't. It was tough. I just had to take breaks. And I did fall asleep a couple times.
You did? You son of
well, yeah, I did.
Many men smoke, but full men chew.
Exactly. What can I say? Because, I spent half of Sunday watching this movie.
Half of Sunday?
Well, the first half of the day, I watched half the movie. And then I watched a little bit more that night. And then I finished it off yesterday.
Well, speaking of finishing it off, we need to finish off this review because we're running low on time.
Yeah,
and
so
we now want to
I
get
just
to
wanted
our
to
next
say that
film.
it's
a great piece of work, but
I'll never watch it again.
All right, I understand. I
Yeah.
probably will watch it again just because. I'm so enraptured with Kurosawa. I'm just so in love with his style and just the images, and I love that black and white. I really.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
I know you saw a miserable. You did not see a Criterion.
Yes, I did.
Oh, thank God.
I watched the Criterion. That's what I got.
I'm so glad you did.
Yeah,
because
it
at
looks
least
great.
you know that at least the print was good.
Yeah,
Photomat.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There were dots. I mean, this is one of his first films, and it was a horrible print. I was very surprised that Criterion put it out. Anyway, we're going to move on
we're going
on to What Happened to Monday.
Also known as
new
Seven
Netflix
Sisters,
film,
ironically.
Seven Samurai.
It stars Noomi Rapace.
Noomi plays all 7 characters.
She's the girl with the dragon tattoo from the Swedish version.
She's been in a lot of films. We just reviewed her recently in a film called Rupture.
Yes,
which I
check
love.
out Rupture.
Little sci-fi.
It's probably on video now.
It is on video.
Like on DVD, not just
Rod
not
Serling,
online,
kind of a
in
Twilight
general.
Zone-ian sci-fi movie. But this is a sci-fi
It's on
movie.
Netflix right now.
It is on Netflix.
It's a Netflix film.
It's wonderful. It's about a society that only can have one child at a time, much like China.
2073 or something.
I think China is actually they give that you can have.
Well,
2
they've
children.
reneged a little bit now on the one-child policy.
Yeah, I think they've gone to 2 to replace you when you die. You can have another child to replace you when you die. So if a man and a woman have 2 children, supposedly,
because it's also mandated that in China you take care of your elders in their later years.
Correct.
Where like here people just abandon them.
We just throw them into homes.
Not in
and
China.
Walk away.
They live with you.
Japan is
Japan too.
Oh, far more so in Japan.
Yeah.
No, elders are respected to the very. They are. Always, I mean, like, here we kind of, everybody runs. Jerry Lewis, Dick Gregory, these people pass away. Jerry Lewis was doing stand-up, or rather sit-down. He was in a wheelchair. He was doing sit-down comedy, literally, right up until literally 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And he was funny. He was very good. But, people like that who do live to the very end of their life, but how often do we hear about, Olivia de Havilland, who's actually still alive. She's about to be 102 right now. But like Teresa Wright, she was like in her 90s when she passed away from Shadow of a Doubt.
Exactly.
And, we have these people who just die, and we hear about them, and we go, oh, such a shame. So sad they died. Well, why weren't you at their house? Here they are, an old person. Martin Landau just passed away. He was in his 80s. And, we kind of like it that, people treasure their people.
It's true.
More so. But, I'm sure Martin's family and
he's got
Teresa's
family,
they treasure them, I hope. But, okay, let's move on. What Happened to Monday is a Noomi Rapace extravaganza.
Yeah.
This is about a family, Willem Dafoe. We don't actually see the mom, do we?
No, we learned right away that the mother died during childbirth.
There you go.
And
rightly so.
And Willem Dafoe is the grandfather.
Twins,
and now he's got 7 identical female granddaughters.
He's the grandfather?
He's the grandfather.
Where's the dad?
I don't know. He was never. I guess they. No, he says something
sure
about.
He's the grandfather.
Yes, because he says my daughter, meaning the deceased mother of these children.
Oh, okay.
And the father was never in the picture because I think the nurse asks him at one point in the beginning.
Well, this is an action sci-fi movie. Noomi is just outrageous.
Yeah. He raises these girls in secret and trains them to be one collective person outside.
Well, you're only allowed to have one person go out the door every day.
So they're named for each day of the week.
Exactly. And that is the day that they go out.
Yes.
But they can't all go out at once
No.
because then the authorities that be, Big Brother, will discover that, hey...
There's a whole bureau
there's a
that
whole-
takes siblings and
The
puts them in a
child-
cryo chamber.
The child, blah, blah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
That scene was
we have a
amazing.
little cremation machine that is just
Stop!
like that. Well,
You're giving stuff away.
well, that's a big lure, I think. I think
no,
that was a
but
super cool little
it's
thing.
not. No, you just ruined the movie.
I disagree.
It's a
I ruined the
cryo
movie.
chamber. It's a cryo chamber.
Well, you mentioned it, so I'm just saying what it is.
No, you said it was an incinerator. It's a cryo chamber. They're frozen.
Oh, I see.
There's a difference between the two. An incinerator is one thing. A
Who's
cryo
frozen?
chamber. No, the kids are put in cryo sleep. The siblings are put in cryo. Glenn Close plays a political figure who comes up with this bureau to take anybody who has a sibling, a second child. They're frozen until the time that the population is built up enough.
So we think.
Well, yeah, but you ruined it by giving it away. You just ruined the
But
movie.
if you would just stop harping on it, nobody would know I gave it away, and they wouldn't even realize it.
Well,
but you keep saying it, so now
Well, because you're too spoiler prone.
Well, listen.
You do this every week. You
it
give
has
movies
nothing
away.
to do with the plot of the film.
Yes, it's a big
no,
spoiler.
it really doesn't. I disagree with you.
I
It's not a big
disagree.
spoiler whatsoever. This is really about these 7 sisters who have to survive, and suddenly they're under assault. Suddenly one of them is found out. They realize that, hey, you're a little different than your other sister, and she's discovered. So she has to make a deal, blah, 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 and then we find out all the little political aspects of this. But basically, throughout, I'm going to say 80% of this film, this is a chase movie.
It's a chase movie.
This is a drop-down, knockout, Noomi Rapace playing that kick-ass babe. I mean, that one...
She's very good.
She's so good in this, and she plays 7 distinct characters.
She does.
Not always distinct, if
They're
I
not
may
all
say.
fleshed out
they
100%.
kind of blend in, and that's just lack of time.
Yeah, you
you
don't
got
have the
7
time to do
characters.
that,
You know,
yeah.
unless you're going to do a 4-hour film, you can't
I agree.
really, go into the characters of each,
No, you can't.
each film. But I'm
That's
sure
true.
Noomi did just a great job, just visually
I'm
speaking.
sure.
But that's the art direction people and so forth, making her look completely different in each character. And she played each character so brilliantly. I gotta say, it's a great little acting.
It
movie.
really is a fantastic film. I loved it.
I love the bad guy, that blonde guy.
Yeah, he's good.
One particular scene did bother me. There's an explosion where he should have been
I agree with you.
obliterated,
I
and
agree.
suddenly there he is back in the scenario
I know, I
again.
agree
I
with
was
you.
like, come on.
That was dumb. I agree with you.
That was bullshit.
No way.
He should have died and just been replaced by some other horrible individual.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, it's a great little
It's a good
film.
little action film.
You know, it kind of fizzles out to the end for me. That whole big end thing was just, I thought it was just...
that's standard genre nonsense.
No, it didn't have to go that route. The way... And I
You're
don't want to
speaking
get
with
into
the
that.
political speech thing, the whole scene.
The whole kind of, we have people... Two are fighting, and they're
Well, they always have to do that.
Oh no, they didn't.
3 cuts, intercut. They always do that, though.
No,
I'm not saying they have to, but they always do it.
They just gave us kind of a... I thought it was kind of a half-assed, lame kind of ending. I almost felt it was tacked on a little bit. We have... And then suddenly, we have people there that have gone against the system. These sisters, they
Yes.
employ... There's another guy. All of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, well, no one's trying to kill... no one's... Then they're just safe all of a sudden. Come on, it just bothered me, the ending. But neither here nor there.
I don't remember them being safe all of a sudden.
Yeah, at the end, all of a sudden, nobody was after them. It was like...
Well, no, because
okay,
they abolished, as we expect, they
Yeah,
abolished the whole the bureau.
overnight, over 5...
No,
like
time passed.
10-minute thing?
No, time passes because there was a...
They
No,
don't-
time. They imply
I
that
realize
time
that.
went by.
I realize that, but we don't get that impression that much time has passed. They're just kind of saying they should have all been obliterated. Easily, right then and there, but they're not. We have a big kind of a mayhem at the end. Glenn Close is giving her speech and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I didn't like it. I thought it fizzled out. I thought it kind of went in the dumper a little bit. But I don't care. I still wholeheartedly recommend this film.
It's great.
It was so good.
To watch her play 7 roles is
To watch her play
fantastic.
7 roles, but not just that, just the way that the film unfolds.
Technically, the way they did it, too, was
It
great.
was brilliant.
Yeah.
It really was. One of the best times I've ever seen of 7 people being in the
was
same
great.
scene, sitting at a dinner table. We see that silly girl in that those insurance commercials.
You talking about
Progressive
Flo?
insurance, right? Flo, and she plays all the characters sitting at the dinner
Yeah.
table. In various makeups, and so she plays the old guy, harping back to what's his name, Eddie Murphy, back in.
Nutty Professor.
Yeah, Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
He plays the whole damn thing, and then Tyler Perry does the same thing too, to
Yeah,
some
yeah,
extent.
yeah.
So we have everybody. So I guess that kind of technology is kind of taken over, and you know, we're all subject to it. But tour de farce in this film. Numi just takes it to a new level with her acting skills. I mean, it's a real actor's. This is a dream job.
That's great.
I hope she got paid 7 times.
It'd be nice
for doing this this incredible piece of work. And just as an action film, if you're a sci-fi,
it's very well done.
It's really very well done.
I really enjoyed it.
Super cool.
I was really into this movie.
And it's called What Happened to Monday. It's on Netflix right now. You can't miss it.
It just premiered last week.
I know. I think just a few days ago.
Yeah, it's great.
I think it just, I just loved it. God, Numi Rapace in this film, man. She's
great.
Just outrageous.
She's
really, so good. And I love
one
her
of my
anyway.
favorite actresses right
Loved her
now.
in Prometheus. I loved her in and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh,
all
she's
three
great
of
in
them.
those, all three of
Also
those.
on Netflix, you can see the unedited versions
Yeah.
of Girl with the Dragon. They're all like 3 hours each. This is a 9-hour
I'm due to watch those
miniseries.
movies again.
Oh, you should.
They're great.
She's so great. And of course, we lost Sven Nykvist.
Michael Nykvist.
Michael
yeah,
Nykvist. That breaks my heart because I love that guy.
He was so young.
He was so young.
Yeah.
It was such a shame that he has left us now.
Yes.
But
All right. So,
All right,
the next
so
film you're
our
going to
next
do,
film is,
briefly, because we have no time.
okay, so we're going to do It Stains the Sand Red. This is a great little movie. It's called It Stains the Sand Red. A woman's with a boyfriend. They're crossing the desert. He's killed right at the very beginning of the film. He's killed by a zombie. There's only pretty much one zombie in this whole film, and he's a bad guy. Well, he's not a bad guy. He's a zombie. He likes to eat brains, etc., and so forth. The only way to kill him is a bullet through the brain. So this woman is now alone with him, and they end up becoming a very bizarre couple. And she's going this way, he's chasing after her, and they bond very slowly. It's almost touching. It's near to my heart. That's the only reason I'm sitting here talking about this movie, is because it really got me. I keep thinking about it. She's so good. She's cute, and she's just got this very incredible, charming way about her that
Her name is
Brittany Allen?
Brittany Allen.
And you're going to be watching it, by the way, hopefully.
Okay.
And I hope you do it.
I'll check it out.
I hope you
I'll find
review
it.
it next week for everybody, because I think they should hear about it twice from a different humanoid.
Okay.
Or subhumanoid in your case.
Yeah, exactly.
I lost
your machine gun.
I lost my... Well, there it is, just for everybody.
It Stains the Sand Red, so yes from you, huh?
Stains the Sand Red. I love this film. I really did. We didn't also say big thumbs up, big yeses for What Happened to Monday. It's just a super cool
well, yeah,
thing.
it's fantastic.
Almost everything on today's show has been a big yes for me. Shallow Grave.
Shallow Grave.
Danny Boy.
I loved it.
Loved it too.
Danny Graves' first big
Oh.
feature that broke him into the mainstream.
1992, 3?
No, 94.
94. Ewan
pretty
McGregor,
sure,
a very
yes.
young man in this
Yeah,
film.
you know, Christopher
He doesn't look
Eccleston.
much different.
He
Ewan
aged very well.
You know,
Yeah.
they always have on TMZ, you know, good genes or good docs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
good
true.
doctors. And,
He's
and
looking
in this
really great.
film, good genes on Ewan McGregor, man.
He's in good shape. Yeah, this is in a way, it's a murder mystery.
Yes, absolutely.
These people that live in a flat together. It's Kerry Fox, Christopher Eccleston, and Ewan McGregor. They're young 20-somethings.
Right.
They get a guy that moves in with them into their house.
And he
does. And so they find that he might be associated with some criminals, so they decide to hide his body. And this is all about the aftermath that
The money.
transpires.
It's all about the
There's
money.
a fight for
Where
money.
did he put the money?
Yes,
There's
and
money. They
yes.
find the money. It's
And-
in a suitcase.
Yes.
They hide the money, but they keep getting assaulted by various
People
criminals
looking for
and
the money.
Mafia-type humans who keep
And so the
coming
film
after
takes
them.
a very dark turn, and it's a very riveting movie. It's very intense. I found it to be very, very engaging. I was really into it.
This film is not whatever. 1948, Treasure of the Sierra Madre. It is Humphrey Bogart and badges. If you're the police, if you're the federales, wear your badges. We don't need no stinking badge. It's got everything about it. Is just how people are corrupted by the almighty buck,
Exactly.
by gold, by the
It reminded
dollar.
me of A Simple Plan a lot. The
go.
Sam Raimi film from 1998
Yes,
that I
sir.
love.
Billy Bob, love
Bill
that movie.
Paxton, yeah.
Great
Bridget
book.
Fonda.
Yeah, a guy named Smith wrote that book, like Sheldon Smith.
I know you
or
said the
something.
book was really good.
The book was wonderful. I love the book actually more than I like the film. But yeah, this is just the
But Shallow Grave
effects
is
of
really
money
great.
on three roommates who are
really
really,
well done.
love each other.
Yeah.
They really love each other, but money.
I've been wanting to see this movie for a while, so I'm
Money
glad I
does
finally
the
watched it.
strangest things to
It
people.
really does. It's the root of all evil, and it's not
I
just a
suppose
saying.
so.
It
And by
really
the way,
is.
the lottery right now is up to 650 mil.
I saw that.
Hope you can all get out there.
Did you
and,
buy one?
I didn't, but I will. I
Yeah.
will. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so that's the drawing is tomorrow night.
Oh.
So there you go, folks.
Well, Shallow Grave, check it out.
Love Shallow Grave.
Yeah,
Such
it's
a
a
great
cool
little movie. It really is. It's just cool, and you know, you got to bury the body, and then well, where's the body? Well, now we got to dig it up, and then the police fight. I mean, it's just an incredible.
It's really well done.
It's
Really well
just,
acted.
well
Very
acted.
intense.
I love Danny Boyle's
He
sense
has
of
such a
his
style.
eye. This man
So
has such
great.
an eye for color
does.
and brilliance, and you
And
know
camera
that's Danny.
movements, it's
Oh
great.
my God, so stylish.
There's no mistaking whose film this is. You know.
Well, you know, I don't know about that. Only because
Well, if you
Ewan
know
McGregor's
Dan,
in
well,
it.
if you know, well, no, if you know Danny Boyle's
If they were-
style,
let's
you
say
can
this was
see that
in
this is him.
England. Let's say this was an American cast, the exact same film. I'd never know it was Danny Boyle.
I could probably tell by the style, the way he uses music and camera movements. I think I'd be able to know.
Okay.
I
Well, I
I'd be
think
able
more
to
so
know.
Train Spotting. I love both of them. I
Yeah,
just
but
love
then
and
you
adore
can
them.
you can see
I really did.
you can see the elements of Train
Metamorphosis,
Spotting in
yeah.
this film.
Absolutely.
There's some camera movements. I'm like, oh, that's pure Train Spotting.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you want, we'll do a quick recap, but quick. So 2 yeses for Logan Lucky.
Logan Lucky, loved him.
you
Hitman's
have a
Bodyguard,
yes.
I did
Hitman's
like.
Bodyguard.
I give it a yes, but it's an overwhelming bit of
2 big yeses for Wind
TV
River.
schlock. There you go. Yeah,
2 big yeses for Away.
absolutely.
Yeah, a big yes for you, or a mild yes for 6 days.
6 days. Yeah, mild yes.
A yes and a no for Shot Caller.
You know, Shot Caller's not horrible. It's just so damn boring to sit through. But it's a well-made
find it
film.
that boring.
It's a
Very
well-acted,
well
well-made
made.
film. All right, I'll change my review.
All right, good. 2 yeses for Seven Samurai.
Absolutely.
Although I think it's a very tough movie to sit through, but it's very well done.
Well, I found
two
it
big
wonderful.
I know you
I'd
loved
sit and
it.
watch it right now.
Go for it.
No,
2
I
big
won't.
yeses for What Happened to Monday on Netflix.
Loved it.
Look, I loved
Knew
it too.
me, oh my
Yeah.
God. Knew me, I love it. And I think, is this her first time being in the world of nakedness?
No, what are you kidding me? She was naked throughout those
Oh,
dragon
that's
tattoo
true.
films.
Oh, yeah, she was indeed.
She's a
Yeah,
very
what
brave
am I saying?
actress.
She is indeed. She's fearless.
A big yes from you for it stains the sand red, right?
I loved it.
You love that?
I really love that movie.
And,
It's an endearing zombie film.
and 2 yeses for
Just
Shallow
one zombie,
Grave.
one guy. Big 2 yeses for Shallow Grave.
Catch you next week as usual. Check us out on YouTube. Check out Film Banter on Facebook. Email us filmbanter@gmail.com.
And we'd like to say one thing to Miss Kimberly Marlin
If
McMahon.
she's watching the show.
She's probably not watching. She's fast forwarded through the whole show. I
Maybe
don't
she
care.
has.
He's showboat. He's showboat. You should be the star, Chris. You should be the real star of the show.
I
Get
agree.
rid of that guy. Just you
Oh,
give
stop.
the reviews. You don't even need
Relax.
him. He's nobody. He's nothing.
She's never said that. You're
Oh.
speaking for some person that doesn't exist.
Oh, well, all right.
I think you're integral to the show's success.
All right. I thank you very much.
We'll
ladies
see you
and
next
gentlemen.
week.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a privilege and a privilege.
It has.
Goodbye.
Freeze frame.